I guess we're live then, eh?
What is going on today with these TVs? I think we're live, dude.
Okay. We are live. We are live.
Rain's thirsty.
The fuck was that? Oh, I know what that was. What's the bat? I was just looking for a mouse.
Orange down.
I hope we don't make anybody mad.
Oh, God. You know we're gonna.
I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, there's 5 watching now.
I got 10.
What's up? What's up? I was 0. He was 0. Oh, what's up? What's up? I'm here. Who is Jackie Kennedy? Huh. Well, she was the wife of John F. Kennedy, yeah. What's up, Dabney? How was Chicago? It was good. It was good, Rennie. It was good. It was busy. I don't like busy cities like that, I realized. But, yeah, it's cool. It was cool. Saw the bean. Flicked it.
We did not have a show this weekend.
No, yeah, we did not. We did not have a show this weekend. We are having our weekend show today. This is America. Everyone gets mad at anything. Oh, yeah, that's true.
It's a holiday today.
If Fortnite had inverted, I would be boss.
How do we sound?
You run inverted?
Who plays inverted?
Fortnite's nice, isn't it? It's not as good as PUBG, though, Jay. It's just
Check
like-
1, 2. That
it's
sounds
like
okay.
It's like a kiddie version of PUBG.
What is up with this?
It's like Overwatch mixed with PUBG.
Something doesn't seem right.
What doesn't seem right?
I don't know. It's weird being
Well, it's
on
this
Monday.
camera, isn't it? Oh, I don't know what camera it is. This one? Yeah, it's that one.
Something's up with
Alright.
my mic, too. This is...
My mic's fucked?
Oh, somebody's been messing with stuff in here, man.
It's probably you.
Wasn't me.
It was you.
It weren't me, I'm telling you. Check. Okay, that's
It
better.
were you.
Now, something's up with this spring. Maybe we put the wrong arm back when we rebuilt this, but it seemed okay last time we did the show.
It was fine with me.
Yeah.
I have the bat,
Why do you have it?
just in case it helps me think better.
Better move my soda. April will kill me. She's probably texting me right now saying, move my soda. Move your cup, please. Yes. Thank you for the reminder.
Let's do this. Nick Kirkpatrick says, all right, Nick Kirkpatrick, we're going to do this.
Wait a minute. Wasn't he a referee in WCW?
That was Nick,
Kirkpatrick? Neil Patrick? Nick Patrick? Just Nick Patrick.
Nick Patrick. Was the one with the black hair?
Yeah, hold on. Nick Patrick. Ref. Yeah, it was Nick Patrick.
Okay. Yeah.
Lucked out there.
Or did he?
Dun, dun, dun.
It
All
was
right.
Randy.
And no
did
point
it.
to carry on too much longer. You about ready?
Yep, I'm ready when you are.
Let me go start the shit. You want me to print out the sheets?
Yeah, we should print the sheets out.
Yeah, let me do that real quick.
We are printing our doc, and then we're getting the show started.
Don't touch my dock.
Don't touch my doc. Mm-hmm.
Hey, can I see the bat?
Yeah, for what?
Just because I want it. I don't want you to have it.
No, I need this.
My password changed 11 months ago. Has
Star
it been
Wars
that long
podcast
already?
going to happen
I need
now
to
that
change
Eric is full-time lineup media?
Depends on how busy we get.
Yeah, I don't know. Yes, I don't know. Mr. Prescott says it was Nick Patrick. A little late to the party there, Mr. Prescott.
Well, maybe we're on a delay.
Oh, yeah.
He might be just right on time.
You got it. Did you print them out?
I'm working on it. I had to find the untitled document because you savage ass didn't name it.
I didn't need to name it. It needs no name. We're not giving this any...
Oh, there. Now it just named itself as soon as I clicked up there. That was hard.
What do you know about that?
Not much.
I set the computer up to do that.
You've always been something of a maniac.
Yes, yes, yes.
2 copies, please.
Diddle your doc in your own time. I will. First time I've ever gotten to listen live.
Well, welcome to the show.
Yes, welcome to the show, Anna Butcher. Butcher.
Oh,
I might
that
as well just
beautiful
call
bean
it Butcher
footage.
because I butchered it.
Anna Butcher? Yeah.
All right, yep.
Be right back.
He's getting the docs, and then we're ready to roll. There's more to this story. Yes, there certainly is. Uh-oh. You guys should do 2 shows a week. We should do 2 shows a week, but there's little time for that. Everett is a real busy man around here, and I am semi-busy around here as well. Roll that beautiful bean footage, Phantom Code. It's been a long time since I seen Phantom Code or Sarah Franco.
You guys should do 2 shows a week. Calm down, Rennie.
I told him we should do 2 shows a week, but
Both of you calm down.
Everett's pretty busy around here, and I'm semi-busy around here. So
Hey, I'm trying to keep you busy. Check 1. Sounds good. Clap.
sounds fine to me.
Yeah, lost my shit.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Hold on. Check. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Rolling it.
Roll it. Roll.
I'm too old to go diving into lockers.
What was that? I don't think I had the raspiest ass voice.
Dude, I had laryngitis one time recently.
You're listening to Surreal Talk, a look inside the world of cults, conspiracies, and the paranormal.
Something's not right, man. Something's not right. Something's bullshit here, and I don't believe it.
Honestly, this crazy shit could be completely possible. This is one of those times.
Yeah. Disclaimer, we reserve the right to be wrong, ladies and gentlemen. This is also one of those times.
Every time.
Every time, right? You think you know the whole story? Think again.
Now your hosts, Eric and Everett.
Welcome to Surreal Talk, a look inside the world of cults, conspiracies, and the paranormal, a lineupmedia.fm production, and we are back, but not on our usual day.
It is Monday, 2 days after our normally scheduled day. You are out this weekend.
I was out this weekend.
First time up in Chicago as a tourist.
Yes.
How'd that go?
It was cool. It was very busy. I don't like busy cities, I realized.
Yeah, you're a country boy at heart.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Small town?
Yeah, I
was
wouldn't even
born
say that.
in
I
a
just
small
don't.
town.
There's too many fucking people.
There's a lot of people, man. It's a big
I
city.
stand into it. Too many. Everybody honks their horn. I hate that. Like, I realize that, like, that shit in the movies. Honk, honk. That's true. That actually happens in big. It's just nonstop horn honking.
Culture, man. It's slapping
Fucking
you in the face.
annoys you.
isn't it? Tell you
Anyways.
what. So we decided, talking yesterday, actually last night, why not just come in? We're both going to be at the studio today. Let's just come in and do an hour on, or whatever we can do on the Las Vegas shooting. Obviously, not all the news is out about that. There's 1,000 different conflicting reports about what happened. Conspiracy theories abound.
We don't have all that evidence that's even out.
I think that's
now or
obvious.
yet,
I mean,
so.
even if all the evidence was available, we wouldn't have it.
And chance are we'll be all over the place today because of the lack of evidence, and we're just going to be talking about what we know.
And if Eric makes
and
any
what we
jokes,
think.
he's not trying to be insensitive. That goes for me too. But mostly
If it's
just
about
Eric.
the Vegas shooting, I'm not trying to be insensitive. If I make a joke, I most certainly am trying to be insensitive, just not about the Vegas shooting.
Sure. Just throwing that out there. We're not trying to be dicks about anything.
No, not at all. So what do we know, Everett? What do we know?
Well, it happened, let's see, October 1st, 10:05 p.m., Las Vegas. Stephen Paddock opens up fire on a crowd at a Jason Aldean concert?
Yeah, it was just a country show. He was just the one playing, though.
Oh, so it's like a festival?
Yeah, it was a festival.
Anybody else playing? Anybody good?
There's
the first joke.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, he opens up fire. He ends up killing how many? 58 people and
58
injuring
people.
489, I guess, is the count. That's pretty I don't know if they were all injured from him or from people running around. Maybe you get trampled. That counts.
That's just how many people were injured at the festival.
Yeah, I mean, I'm giving him credit because if they wouldn't have got injured had he not started shooting. So
right. Well, so what they say is that he fired modified semi-automatic weapons from his room on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel into a crowd of approximately 22,000 concert goers at a country music festival on the Las Vegas Strip. He lived in Mesquite, Nevada, and he died at the scene from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The incident surpassed the 2016 Orlando nightclub shooting as the deadliest mass shooting by a lone gunman in U.S. history, with 58 fatalities, excluding Paddock, and yes, like you said, 489 injuries. And this is the fucking weird part. His motives are unknown. So, like, how often does that happen? You know what I mean?
There's no note. None of his family or friends. Or
no, there's a note floating around.
Is there a note floating around?
Yeah. Hit it up and see what you can find on that. But there's supposed to be a note floating around.
I don't see that today.
I guess what we do know about him, he was a bitch.
So as soon as I start typing in Stephen Paddock in the Google, the first thing is note.
Ha ha. Well, we do know he was a habitual gambler and he loved video poker.
Yeah, I got a problem with that whole. He was a professional video poker player.
Right.
Nobody's a professional casino player. You know what I mean? Those odds are all against you. It's not like you could have skill. Over time, you're going to lose. That's just the way those work. You can only pretty much be a pro at poker, where there is no odds disadvantage, and you're playing against other people, so it's skill. I don't know how anyone can make a living continually as a video poker player.
I don't know. But
I'm just saying,
I do know he was a gambling addict, so maybe he wasn't winning all the time.
Well, and that goes against what Steve Wynn said. Did you read Steve Wynn, the guy that owns Wynn Hotels out there in Vegas? So I think it was 2012 they started, and I think it was instituted in 2015, but they started in 2012, I believe, creating an anti-terrorism type of protocol. So what they started doing is every single person, without fail, that comes through their doors, they start a profile on. And Steven's profile was actually fairly, he's come in there a lot, so they've got a good profile on him. From what Steve Wynn said, there is nothing in that profile that makes him see like a risk at all. This guy was in there pretty often, spent a fair amount of money, nothing. Just
your average dude, you know what I mean? He was a millionaire. He was a millionaire.
How did he make his money, do you know?
Yeah, he was a property owner. He had a lot of real estate. He did some work for the company that eventually turned into Lockheed Martin between 85 and 87. Everybody knows the defense contractors is Lockheed Martin. He did some work for them, which it wasn't exactly Lockheed Martin. It was the company that had transformed into Lockheed Martin or whatever. But yeah, he's a lot of real estate, man. He had a lot of rental houses and properties everywhere. And
if it's in Las Vegas, that guy's got money then, for sure.
Right.
So
that's
built in.
So no political or religious affiliation, according to his brother. His brother.
But what is it we keep hearing about this guy supposedly converted to Islam a month or so before he died?
Well, and that's why I said, according to his brother, he said there was no political or religious affiliation. But ISIS is saying that he was radicalized 6 months ago, and then now we're hearing. See, when this first came out, we were hearing that he, from the media, he had no political or religious affiliation.
Right.
Now they're saying that he was radicalized up to about 30 days before the shooting. He became radicalized Muslim.
He lived at a
that doesn't even make
nursing
sense,
home, didn't
man.
he? From what I'm reading,
he lived in Mesquite, Nevada.
I thought he lived in a nursing home with. He had a roommate who was a lady or something like that.
No, they didn't live in a nursing. He had a girlfriend. What are you talking about?
What am I thinking of?
Not this.
Hold on, not a nursing home, but hold on. I don't know. Keep going. I'm going to look into this real quick.
Something that I looked at a lot was the communications of the emergency responders, like the Las Vegas police. They have comms, and you can go on the internet and actually get the readout.
I listened to all that today.
Yeah, that's a lot of like.
There's
crazy
confusion going on, dude.
Yeah, you're right. It was confusion. There's a lot of confusion.
And where they get all their reports is from people calling in. And now there's a few of them where you can hear the officers talking about, hey, there's a gunman possibly on the 4th floor and whatnot.
They talk about multiple shooters at Mandalay and also about shooters at the Bellagio, Caesars, and Tropicana. Now, how far are those hotels away from Mandalay?
Bellagio is right down. They're all just right down the street.
Okay, well,
literally like within, I don't know.
Right, so I was just in Chicago, and right down the street can mean 4 fucking miles.
I mean, the strip's pretty long here.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is if the dude was shooting at Mandalay, the chances of them hearing at a hotel 4 or 5 miles away would be slim to none.
Hold on, I got the map up here.
He's got the map, ladies and gentlemen. He's looking at the map.
So where were they saying he was also at? Tropicana?
Tropicana.
That's a good long way down the road.
Caesars and Bellagio.
I mean, it's probably a quarter mile down the road.
Quarter mile? Well, you might be able to hear
eighth of a mile. I don't know. It's hard to tell here.
So they also said that.
Oh, you could hear that from.
Yeah.
Especially in Vegas. I bet
it's
it echoes
echoing
down
right
there.
off that. I agree on that. So they also said the shooter was neutralized on the 32nd floor of Mandalay Bay, but there was another suspect at Mandalay Bay still at large they had not found yet. So, I mean, and that was on the official comms, so that's pretty crazy. And that lends a little credence to all those fourth floor gunman videos that everybody's showing. You know?
But I haven't seen any videos or pictures where the fourth floor window's out.
What do you mean?
Like they actually shot through the window.
The one I just sent you through Messenger earlier.
On Discord?
No, on Facebook. Look at your Facebook Messenger. I literally sent you an hour and a half ago or an hour ago.
I thought that was higher up on the building. Hold on,
Look, that shows two different sets. Look at it. There's one floor and then a lower floor. Whether it be the fourth floor or not, I'm not sure. But look at it. It's two different sets. There's 5 windows busted out, right?
I'm looking. Yeah, there's several sets busted out.
So, I mean...
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever seen this, and it's way above the fourth floor, though.
Okay, well, what I'm getting at is it wasn't just from the 32nd floor. There's windows busted out on
All
multiple
over
floors.
Or they're just blacked out for whatever reason. I don't... Who's to say? They look pretty clean compared to the other windows we've seen. Okay. The ones we saw from the other side...
Everett's your naysayer right
I'm
now.
not naysaying. I'm just saying these don't look like any of the other pictures I've seen of the windows. The other windows I've seen were like all jagged and fucked up. These look like somebody just cleanly removed them.
So let me ask you this. If I was going to shoot out of a window, I don't know, I guess you stand back a little bit. I wouldn't want a jagged-ass piece of nothing falling down on my head after I busted it out.
I'd probably shoot straight out first to blast the window out.
Bang the shit out of the way that was up there, you know what I mean?
Probably.
I don't know. But I thought that was pretty nuts, all the conflicting reports on the comms in Las Vegas, you know. And like I said, you didn't see any of those fourth floor gunman videos? They all say fourth floor.
I've seen them. It looks like a strobe, but it's perfectly in time with the sound. But my problem with that was, how could it be perfectly in time with the sound? So if that guy's 500 feet away, there'd be a noticeable delay between the flash and the sound. You know,
500 feet, not that noticeable.
This. Bang. Bang. Enough of a... You'd be able to tell.
You'd see the light first.
Well, good point.
Bang.
Yeah, sorry.
Come on now.
A little backwards. Let me get my cup planet back out.
Yeah. So the conspiracy theorists are going nuts here because it's the same old dead loneman gun story. You know, we've heard it multiple times. One of the most notable being Adam Lanza, the Sandy Hook thing. But, you know, so the deal with the lone gunman story, the dead lone gunman story, is that there's no trial. You know, so that leads to a
John Wilkes Booth, man.
Bare-ass investigation. No interviews with the killer. You know what I mean? You can never get the full story. You'll never get anything out of his mouth. You know what I mean? Obviously, he's dead. I don't know. Maybe that's the idea. And what about the freaking the crazy lady? The crazy lady that was going around in the crowd 45 minutes before.
Telling people they're all going to die tonight?
Yeah, saying they're all going to die. I mean,
yeah,
okay, so there's probably some weirdos in Las Vegas. I'm not saying that. And there's probably some weirdos walking around saying you're all going to die.
Yeah, you've never been to Vegas. That's for sure.
You know,
that's where most of them live.
But for that weirdo to go to that concert at that time and say you're all going to die tonight, I mean, that's kind of fucked up. What do you think?
Yeah, weird coincidence.
Is that what you're calling it?
Well, I'm going to say this. There's about 900 weird coincidences that, when taken alone, they're just weird coincidence.
Right, but when you add them all up,
now you got a real weird looking picture.
So what about the receipt showing the lunch that he ordered for
a couple
2
days earlier, right?
For 2. Now his girlfriend was out of the country, handler, girlfriend, whatever you want to call it.
He's been known with prostitutes plenty. I mean, there's plenty of reports that he was into prostitutes.
Well, that doesn't make him a bad person.
No, but who buys a meal for their prostitute? But it's more likely.
Oh, boy, like, I'm gonna eat. You want something?
Well, he might have just bought extra food for himself.
There was 3 drinks on the meal, on the ticket.
I mean, I don't find it weird that somebody would order extra food. I don't feel like leaving.
Do you find it weird that someone would order 2 separate sodas and a water?
Are they different sodas?
Yeah.
I mean, that's weird, yeah. Okay, that's weird. Very weird.
Did you see the interview with his brother?
Yes, that was weird, too.
Right. And I couldn't quite put my finger on exactly what was weird about it, but it just all seemed too perfect.
Well, he didn't seem surprised for as much as he was saying, that's not my brother. You know, he wasn't nothing like that.
He's a guy that ate burritos, man. He's going to put a burrito in his hand, you know? He's a burrito guy.
His demeanor wasn't that of, I can't believe my fucking brother did that. You
know? No. So what would you do if someone's coming up to you and saying, "Hey, your brother shot this place up," knowing that I own guns and I don't have...
knowing that you don't own guns.
Knowing that I don't own guns, knowing that I don't have any issue with people that listen to country music or people in general.
As far as I know.
What are you talking about?
What would I do?
Yeah, what are you talking about as far as you know? What the fuck's that supposed to mean?
You might have issues with people who listen to country.
I mean, individuals, but that wouldn't constitute me raining down fire on an entire crowd.
That's true.
So what I'm saying is...
Now, if somebody came to me and they said you did this, I wouldn't be able to believe it.
Nah, bullshit. Bullshit. You do a little more than say, he ate burritos.
Yeah. No,
You know
I'd be
what I
like,
mean?
he was fucking crazy. He said a lot of dumb shit all the time.
But I
But
know him.
I don't think he was capable.
You could have come up with a little
He was
more
a hothead. He might fight somebody in traffic, but he's not the type of guy who would premeditate, go up into a hotel and shoot people.
No,
That's what
yeah.
I would say.
Right.
He's not that kind of guy. That's not pretty much what you were getting out of what's his name, his brother. What's Steven's brother's name?
Eric. It was weird. It was completely weird, the whole interview, I thought. I mean, I don't know, man. It just kind of struck me as weird. And here's the other thing. If the brother interview is true, and the guy has no military experience, doesn't own guns, all of this stuff, how in the fuck did he get all those guns up there without security noticing, set up a freaking sniper's nest, and just proceed? I mean, how many rounds? That's what I want to know. I want to know how many rounds were shot. You know what I'm saying? Because I see.
If you listen to the video, you can hear it's got to be in the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
It happened for 10 minutes, man. So
every
I'm going
30
with
seconds
1,000.
or so, like however long it took him to switch guns or change out a magazine.
Yeah, I'm going with 1,000. I don't know, but I'm saying it had to be 1,000, and I didn't see 1,000 shell casings or what even looked like close to that. Maybe 100, if that. Not even that. Let's be serious about things. I didn't see 100 shell casings.
And I'd like to say too, if those pictures are any time within a few hours, I figure there'd still be smoke in that room. You don't have a gun shoot off a couple rounds and not fill up a room with smoke. I mean, guns smoke a lot.
Right, and here's the other thing. Did you see, like, there should have been burns all over the place because when you fire an automatic weapon, that barrel, red hot. Red hot. When you dump that many rounds through it, it's red hot. I've seen sons of guns. I watched them do that shit. I've seen guys on YouTube cook bacon on the ends of their guns. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, America.
There's a lot of people saying, too, that you should,
Like
even if they cleaned up some of the bullet casings, that you should be able to detect the imprints where they were at due to how hot they were. They should have melted that nylon carpet.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And even the end of the gun.
I read a guy on Reddit, though. He said he's military, and he doesn't think that the casings would burn that carpet.
He doesn't think they would?
No, but they come out at like, between 600 degrees, 300 to 600 degrees. That's pretty freaking hot.
That'll melt carpet.
If it's cheap nylon carpet, you'd think it would.
Okay, so reports say that Stephen Paddock installed cameras to let him know when people were approaching his room. First things first, can you do that in a casino? Because is that a thing? Do you think Mandalay Bay is going to let you install cameras?
It wouldn't be that hard, I don't think. Depends on how their security is for noticing new little devices. How like, what is a maid going to go and
He had it in a maid's cart in the hallway. Had it installed in a maid's cart in the hallway. So there's
I don't know how big it was. I mean, I'd like to think I could get away with that.
This brings me to my next point.
There's plenty of times they don't look at those carts. They're in those rooms for 10, 15 minutes at a time. You can walk by that cart and rob it blind.
I'm not
and they would
talking
never
about
know.
the maid. I'm talking about the eye in the sky has video of every inch of that casino.
Sure.
Every inch of the hallways and everything. There has to be, they had to have seen him do that. And if you're telling me that there are people watching every camera, every screen of every camera at every time of those casinos, you're wrong.
They probably were watching, but they might have
What's he doing? Ducking? Yeah, I mean, might have. Okay, so here's my next point. Do you think that they're withholding all of the camera footage that shows him coming in, hauling these luggage, all this stuff up the, 10 different suitcases with 23 guns in them? Do you think they're withholding all this camera footage from us?
Why would they?
Why would they? Ongoing investigation.
So you know it exists.
No, it has to exist. I'm not saying I know it for a fact, but I'm saying there has to be footage of this man entering that building with luggage. There has to be footage.
I'm sure it exists.
Okay, so
but what's the need to release that to the public? Just because you guys want to see it? Just because everybody wants to see it?
Well, you're part of the public too. Do you want to see it?
Why do I need to see that? I'm sure there's an inquiry somewhere going on about it.
Right.
See, that's me as my asshole self, who isn't a really big conspiracy guy who doesn't need shit proved to him like you do. That's just me.
I don't know, man. It's just crazy. We need more evidence. We need more of the videos. So 22,000 people down there. How come we don't have more cell phone video? And I'm not blaming this on any conspiracy or anything, but where's all the freaking evidence at? We're getting maybe 6, 7 videos, and
There's probably way more
I
than
wish
6
I
or
could
7.
say. Well, right, okay, so there's probably 10 or 15. There's not a whole lot, but I wish I could say that I knew they weren't scrubbing.
You
this
think
stuff
every
from the
single
internet,
person
but
who
do you
had the
think that's
video?
possible?
Well, YouTube has been proven already to be to changing their search results.
Wait, what?
Yeah, right now YouTube is already changing their search results. If you type in Las Vegas shooting, they have changed their results to show results from more reputable news sources rather than your conspiracy type sources.
Oh, really?
They're
filtering out alternative news.
Not filtering it, just not putting it at the top.
Ah.
Like purposely removing it from the top. They've changed the algorithm. So you can find evidence about that. There's articles everywhere about how YouTube's changing that.
Well, that's crazy. But so, I mean, we need more evidence. We need more cell phone video. We need more camera footage. I just wish that stuff was released public. I know you say, why would there be a need to release it? But I mean, I don't know why, but I would say that there's
to the public,
inquiring minds would like to know.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sure people would love to know about a lot of stuff, but there's just, why does the public have the right to that, so to speak? Why I don't feel like I have the right to that.
Why?
I think the police
Freedom of Information Act.
think the judicial system should have the right to, subpoena that footage from the hotel. But for us as a society to go stand up, rabble, show us that footage, give it to Channel 5 or whoever, and get that to us. I don't think we have that right.
Okay, so do you?
Even though we're mad, I just don't think so.
Why did he use his girlfriend's ID to rent the room?
I don't know. Why are you asking me?
I'm asking, do you think it was because he knew he was going to...
If he's rich, I mean, why would he bother?
Well, that's my point. So he used his girlfriend's ID to rent the room. And some say, oh, it was because he knew he was going to do the mass shooting. Well, if he knew he was going to do the mass shooting, why wouldn't he just use his own? Because he's got a more reputable profile than she does.
Maybe
he's
he thought he was going to live.
Money all the time. Yo, you think he thought he was going to live?
Maybe. I mean, that's the only other reason I can think of. He wouldn't want his name dragged through the mud.
They still
if he thought it was going to be worth a damn afterwards, like he thought he might have been able to walk away and not be known for who it was.
Okay, so...
but even then, if it's in his girlfriend's name, that's easily tied right back to him.
Exactly. Why would he even do this? So what was the purpose of using your girlfriend's name on that? I mean, I can't think of a purpose of that. Why he wouldn't use his own name or whatever, but...
It probably is if... I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't know either. So here's another one. So his Paddock's neighboring, the guest in the neighboring room to him, is basically blowing a lot of shit up, he's saying, because he's saying that the SWAT team woke him up. Hey, there's shit going down. What? This guy, the SWAT team woke you up? SWAT team woke him up. He had no idea what was going on.
So he didn't hear the shooting?
He didn't hear the shooting. Maybe he's a deep sleeper.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's real weird. So that's his neighbor in the room next to him was sound asleep when the SWAT team broke in, and they told him to exit because of what was happening.
Most hotel rooms, you can tell when the people next door are having sex. I mean, let alone firing assault rifles.
I hope not. I was in a hotel room this weekend.
Oh. There goes that story. I don't even need to hear it. So what'd you do at your hotel this weekend? Anyway.
Right. So there's the obvious gun control argument.
Yeah. So that's a weird one. You got to think, I'm pro-guns, at least pro-gun gun ownership.
Hillary came out very next day. Very next day. Got to do something about these. She's of course addressing the dirty NRA. She hates the NRA, which, like I said, I got no dog in this fight, but I am pro Second Amendment just for the fact that.
But at the same time, you gotta figure that. Think about the reload time on what guns were whenever they wrote the Constitution. You know what I mean? It's a musket. You got to have a ramrod. It's like 20 seconds.
So you're saying that they should change our rights with the times. So I'll go back to you with this.
I'm not saying they should. I'm just saying.
Back when they wrote the Constitution, freedom of speech only meant an idiot could say what he wanted once a day in the newspaper, one time a day. Now here on social media, you can make your opinion known millions of times across different platforms all day, every day.
What's their significance here?
We can't change the rules, the laws because the times change.
No, I agree. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that we need to update the law based on now we have automatics. I'm just saying, think of the mind. They did not have that in mind whenever they said everybody should have the right to own any freaking gun available.
We can own automatics.
Well, true, but any weapon. You know what I mean? They didn't have that in mind like it is now. Like semi-automatic, for instance, that wasn't even a thing.
No.
So I don't know. I don't know what point I'm trying to make. I'm just saying that.
It's just we always hear after the mass shootings, the gun control argument comes out. It rears
well, there's
its ugly
guns
head
don't kill
every
people.
time.
People kill people. There's that. But look at it this way: if guns don't kill people, people don't kill people. What about nukes? Nukes don't kill people. The people with the nukes kill people. What about? Does that mean you want Kim Jong-il to have a nuke? Because it's not the nuke; it's the person with it, right? I mean, it's just a weird argument.
There is really no argument. I don't feel like it's the person. You can kill somebody with a fork. Or your car, or the bus attack in Europe. Remember that guy ran over all them people with that bus.
What was Joe Rogan's quote? We've said to each other 5 times over the last week.
It's a million times. It's our country has a mental health issue disguised as a gun problem.
You don't need to say the second part because it's not relevant.
But it's true.
All right, go ahead. It's killing.
And we have a tyranny problem disguised as a security issue.
Yeah, there you go.
And that goes hand in hand because think about this. Someone posted this to the group the other day. What if they want you to think all of this about Stephen Paddock because he was just your average, normal guy, run-of-the-mill, Boom. This is why we need security and surveillance on everybody, because it could be the normal people that are doing this next. People.
Well, he was normal people.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If there's a narrative to be pushed and there's an end game to that, that would be for surveillance.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? Because, like, hey, we got to watch everybody.
So if you're saying one motive to set this guy specifically up as a Mr. USA everyman.
Exactly. He's a millionaire. He's a run-of-the-mill citizen. He's, gambles, this and that, and he did it. You know what I mean? So we really got to surveil kind of everybody.
I know
it's not just Muslims.
So
it's not just,
but it's hard to believe that any government person would ever sanction this sort of false flag.
Gulf of Tonkin.
Now you could say that
Gulf of Tonkin.
You could say that Sandy Hook was a false flag all day.
Gulf of Tonkin.
And no bodies were found, and it's all bullshit. The school's gone. But this one, as a false flag, there's definitely bodies.
False flag does not mean that people didn't die. I don't want to insinuate that at all.
Not false flag. I mean,
people definitely got murdered.
But my point is, I have trouble believing. That's
Period.
my naivety. I have trouble believing that anyone would ever sanction this sort of violence for something as simple as a gun control issue.
Gulf of Tonkin.
Give me the how you think that fits.
We just Google Gulf of Tonkin and tell me what you think. That was a completely sanctioned. You know who stopped that? JFK. Game over, dude. No, we can't do this. No.
How does that? Relate?
They were gonna. It was to get us in war with Cuba. It was to curry public favor for a war with Cuba.
Okay.
They actually were gonna. What were they gonna do? They were gonna.
But how does that matter? Whatever I'm talking about.
Because you say you don't believe a government could.
It's not. That's a different type of violence.
Kind of violence.
That's way different. It's way different.
You're killing people either way it goes.
No, it's domestic terrorism versus starting a war.
Versus over the seas terrorism.
No,
so they could approve that.
Yeah, I don't think you're making a good point here, but we'll move on.
Okay.
Where are we at here?
We were at the gun control argument, but I still don't think that.
I'm just saying I have trouble believing anybody would say go ahead and light up 22,000 people with automatic weapons, or not say go ahead directly to that guy, but allow that to happen, or set up this scenario. Not saying that even if he didn't do it, set up to say, hey, you black ops people, go and murder all these people, blame this guy as a patsy,
kill him,
only for the thought of let's get some gun control reform. I just don't see how that works.
Well, when there's mass shootings every month of every year. I mean, it's just constantly happening. There's other countries that are making fun of us because we refuse to give up our guns because of these mass shootings. They're like, how many more people's gonna have to get killed before you guys realize that's not what you need?
Well, and on the one hand, I agree. On the other hand, it's liberty. You know what I mean?
Let me light you up with let's switch gears here for a minute. Let me light you up with another conspiracy theory. And as bad as I hate doing these, but this one, okay. On the surface, when I read this, you're going to be like, okay, that's bullshit, because I thought it myself. But at the same time, it's kind of, I don't know, it makes a little sense. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department knows the motive behind the attack. The FBI will not allow us to release the motive as it implicates the FBI in illegal arms dealing and supplying arms to ISIS terrorists within U.S. borders. Stephen Paddock was an undercover FBI agent, I don't believe that, who participated in multiple illegal arms deals in the Las Vegas area and in a gun-running entrapment scheme similar to the Fast and Furious. I think they lost me there. Paddock thought he was engaging in another routine's arms transfer, but ISIS operatives who were going to meet him learned about the entrapment scheme and Paddock's true identity. They killed him and carried out the massacre and then fled the scene. Leland, yes, has a lot to do with this. Everything is being kept under.
Do they have any kind of proof of this?
Everything is being kept
This is a movie.
Yeah, pretty much. Everything is kept under extreme wraps because, one, armed ISIS terrorists are still at large, and two, this is very embarrassing to the FBI, and they don't want their scheme to become public knowledge. Nor would I. I will be sending you further information throughout the day. People within the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police are disgusted for this information to be released. Are disgusted, and they want this information to released to the public.
Huh.
So that's pretty crazy. Yeah, I mean that one's probably not true, but ISIS did claim the responsibility for the attack. I mean, immediately, and I don't know. Do they ever claim responsibility for attacks they didn't do?
I don't know.
Couldn't tell you.
If it benefited them, yeah.
So
why wouldn't they want to take credit for the worst mass shooting in U.S. history?
So there was a web page that knew September 30th that this had happened. And when you Google WGOW Stephen Paddock, there's a site that comes up, and it has since been removed. The site hasn't been removed, but the content, the article has been removed. Now, you can still find it there. But
the index is still there on Google.
The index is still there.
Also, I have a problem, too. Why do all these conspiracy theories contradict each other? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because there's only one right theory. And there's millions of them. And
that's why
none of these could be right. There could be spots from each one of them it takes to collect to,
How much do you think of this as disinformation then? All these extra conspiracy theories. Do you think that's a thing, or do you think it's just people
but I just
trying
feel
to
like
come
we're
up?
discussing it anyway.
Do you think it's couch conspiracy theorists just coming up with the craziest theories, getting them out there on social media, somebody running with them?
Nah, I believe that last thing I just read probably was, about the ISIS and the gun running schemes.
Sure.
I mean, let's be serious. That's probably just complete bullshit.
A lot of it is complete bullshit. Just people wanting to write a story and get something out there on social media.
Everything we've talked about, though, the interview with the brother sounding scripted. You said that yourself. The lady saying that they're all going to die 45 minutes before the shooting. You said that was coincidence, but you couldn't chalk it up to that because there's all these other coincidences. So I don't really believe I've exerted anything that's too out of the ordinary here to be like a couch conspiracy theorist.
You this.
Like this dude was a lizard.
Let me ask you this.
All the people are lizards.
That's true. That's true. We're not going.
Hillary Clinton's making the friggin' frogs gay.
Calm down, Alex. We're not going full Alex Jones on this. But let me ask you this: do you believe there's any chance that it could have went down exactly like the official story?
Do I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you believe that he could have snuck those guns in there?
But I want him to basically come out on TV, and I shouldn't say that because then it's just like they're just having to play to conspiracy theorists or people that don't believe. They have to answer every single question.
Next time, the time after that.
Right. Well, as they should.
Yeah, I understand being completely open, but do it in a judicial manner. Do it in a judicial manner.
Okay, so here's the deal: the guy's dead. What are you protecting? There's going to be no trial. So you're not jeopardizing this trial or investigation because the investigation's still going to find wherever it finds, no matter if you talk about why that window was broke out in the first place. You know what I mean? So they should be transparent.
How are we involved with it?
What do you mean?
Why can't they just do it and then give us the results of it? Why do they got to go like today? What we're working on is we're going to run down this guy's ex-girlfriend tomorrow. We're going to look at the video footage.
You and I are directly aren't involved with it, but I would say that there are probably parents of victims, relatives of victims. No.
Then they should be in direct communication with the police.
Agreed.
And if they choose to take and discuss what the police have told them, fine. But again, I don't think we as the public have any direct right to any of the ongoing investigative evidence. I don't think so. Not as the investigation is going.
Okay.
What if they release some of the evidence? There's more people involved with this, and this tips them off.
Fair enough. So but here you go. So if they do suspect multiple shooters, why are they sticking to the narrative of one shooter? If
maybe they're doing it just to keep those guys feeling safe.
Cocksuckers. I would do the same thing though.
I mean, you can go either which way.
Yeah, I can't debate that because I would have to say I would do the same thing if I knew that if I absolutely knew that there were multiple shooters and I was trying to track down the other one. I would go on the news and tell him, "Yep, we've got the lone gunman." You know what I mean? Because that would totally set the guy at ease. He'd start making mistakes that he normally wouldn't have made if he thought that the government was after him or if he was being pursued. At this point,
it's been over a week. If they had any kind of real trail, they likely would have already had him.
Yeah. I don't know. It took them fucking 10 years to get Osama.
Yeah, but they knew who it was the whole time. Maybe they do know who if there's extra people. And maybe they might kill them and we'll never know. Think about that. We got our official story. We found out it's different, but we can't come back and say we were wrong.
Right.
So we'll just quietly pop these
So there's
guys.
the thing. So they have an official. It's an official story now. And if because they were trying to, figure something out, how can you here's the thing though. So if what you're saying, how can you even come up with an official story before the investigation's clear?
It's a good question.
How can you even come up with an official story if you're still investigating?
You can't really because the story's not done yet. They can have their official statements, which is pretty much the official story for now. As far as we know, Stephen Paddock, 10:05, operated alone, Charlie shots, blah, 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 blah. That's what they know. That's what the facts at this point to. That's what we're told.
So let me ask you this. On a personal level, do you feel like everything that happened exactly as it was said?
My problem is the majority of what I've seen has come from Facebook and other social media things, Twitter, and I cannot trust any image I see.
I've read a lot of Washington Post articles and other articles.
I've read shit that the windows are 8 inches thick, and I don't believe that. I've seen pictures where you just show me 5 windows are busted out on what looks like the whole entire wrong side of the building. His window is closer to the corner of the building, and it's just there's so much differing shit. I don't know what's real, what's photoshopped. I can't guarantee what I see on the nightly news would ever be accurate because those fuckers pull all the same shit off of social media that we see.
Okay, so I have a very nice list here of 10 things that are wrong, or I should say, Official story of the Las Vegas shooting unravels. Physical impossibility of the lone gunman's senior citizen narrative is ludicrous. So, as many as 10 rifles were found in his hotel room, but only one shooter. The fact that 10 rifles were found in his hotel room says 3 very important things. I may or may not agree with these. The rifles were staged for more than one shooter. I don't believe that. The operation was extremely well funded. I do believe that.
Well, the guy was rich.
Yeah, the attack took a tremendous amount of time to set up because you don't just walk 10 rifles up to your hotel room in a single trip. Multiple. Okay, so.
Well, most of those you can break down easily, bring them in a briefcase or duffel bag. You can easily get that shit in. And I don't have any trouble believing he got that many guns up to the room.
Okay,
or that much ammo.
Number 2, as we already talked about, as with many orchestrated shootings, the scapegoat was murdered before he could talk. So you know what that means. It's, Aurora, Colorado shooter James Holm, he didn't get murdered, though. But he's, like, sedated all the time. You know, you ever see his videos? He fucking looks weird all the time. Okay, so why are there no muzzle flashes visible from the 32nd floor Mandalay Bay windows in any of the videos that captured the shooting? Any of the videos, I have not once seen muzzle flashes from the 32nd floor of that night. Have you?
No, but granted, I've been purposely avoiding a lot of the footage because I don't want to see people all shot up. I've seen plenty of that.
Oh, so
I need to see more.
The YouTube video that was linked
just
with that
to
is gone now. They just deleted that in the last 25 minutes. Yeah, that's crazy.
No, I mostly listen to it rather than watch.
Okay, so why does gunfire, and I don't agree with this one, but why does gunfire in multiple online videos clearly sound like automatic weapons fire from multiple weapons?
So I heard that too. It sounds like, as you'll hear, like something like that. That's pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah, that wasn't bad. So it's like different calibers.
Well, it sounded like they had the same cadence to me. I had read that it sounds like they have a different...
Well, and that would lend credence to the bump stock theory, because if it did have... it's bumping at the same...
Yeah, it sounded the same to me. I can't explain why they sounded different. Who knows? Maybe it was like this. I'm looking on my phone. It changed this way. That's going to change like the bounce of like how
where
you
the
pick it up.
microphone is.
I mean, it's like
sound.
Doppler effect. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
No, I'm just making a point on the microphone.
Right. So ISIS has openly claimed responsibility for the attack, stating that Paddock converted to Islam months earlier. As reported on shootings.news, ISIS has already claimed responsibility for the Las Vegas shooting. Islamic State has claimed responsibility for the shooting that killed at least 50 people and wounded over 400 on Monday, blah, blah, blah. ISIS has a long track record of only claiming responsibility for events they inspired or planned. It would not be in the interest of ISIS to falsely claim credit for an attack they did not help carry out, as that would discredit their own supporters and funding sources.
And really, like, why piss off the bear? I mean, I guess if it doesn't really matter. They're taking credit. So
and we talked about this one already too. Stephen Paddock had no familiarity with automatic weapons and no military training and was not a gun guy. So
I disagree. He had to have been a gun guy.
His brother
is there no shooting ranges in Vegas that have this guy showing up at all? Because you don't just show up with all these guns.
That said that there was a gun store owner, and it was Games and Guns was the name of the place.
Right, that's what they probably got guns and slot machines.
Yeah, right. Yeah, fair enough. Perfect for him.
Every place in Vegas has slot machines, from the gas stations, everywhere, restaurants.
You have to get your fix, huh?
You get in on your airplane, and as soon as you get out of your gate, literally in the concourse area, there are slot machines for you to play around with. So they're everywhere.
Okay, so his brother said he's a guy that lives in a house in Mesquite. He drove down and gambled in Las Vegas. He did stuff, eats burritos. He was not an avid gun guy at all. You know what I mean? So he wasn't a fan of such weaponry. How would he know how? Like, there's got to be problems that are associated with automatic weapons. Right. So let me read this.
That's another thing. He had to have converted those himself or hired someone to convert them.
Listen, let me read this to you. How does a 64-year-old accountant with no military training possess the strength and stamina to fire a fully automatic weapon for nearly 10 minutes? People who aren't familiar with firearms have no idea how difficult it is to conduct sustained fire with an automatic weapon. It requires tremendous strength, endurance, and training, something that Stephen Paddock had none of. Military Special Forces operatives train for years to be able to manage such weapons and handle all the problems they pose: barrel overheating, ammo jams, double feeds, recoil management. The idea that some senior citizen accountant can just pick up a machine gun and lay down thousands of rounds of effective fire in a sustained 10-minute assault, even though he had no experience with such weapons, is completely ludicrous. It actually looks like someone else staged the guns in the room, perhaps Paddock.
Let me ask you this. Do you think you could do that? Like, just physically alone?
Physically? I don't know.
You don't think you could fire?
I've only shot an automatic weapon one time. Fully automatic.
How many?
Mac 90.
That's what it went for you?
Yep.
Right up in the air?
Right straight up in the air, and I let off. I didn't even get half through the clip. It was crazy and freaking scary.
Okay, well, that's just in one hand. Think if you got the full stock and you're holding it with two hands, be able to brace yourself and just really. I bet you could do it.
I don't know, man.
If you really wanted to do it,
I'm not
and this
64
is what,
years old, and I'm in halfway decent shape.
This was your opus, your final thing. I think you could get through it.
Okay.
I mean, obviously he did. Somebody did anyway.
Somebody did. So despite being found amid an arsenal of weapons, Eric said that his brother had never been an avid gun guy at all, adding that he was at a loss as to where Stephen got his arsenal of automatic weapons from. So Stephen Paddock was gambling away huge amounts of cash. Where did he get all the money? Obviously, we know that he was a millionaire, but he was gambling. According to NBC News, he was engaged in high-stakes gambling to the tune as much as $30,000 a day. On several occasions, he gambled more than $10,000 a day, and in some cases, $20,000 and $30,000 a day in casinos. So, gosh, and it was by his multiple currency transaction reports. And a gaming executive gave those to the CBS News. So that should be illegal. I feel like you should be able to give somebody's gambling reports away. Anyway, he has no criminal history, no record, and no apparent beef with anybody. He had no federal, state, or local history with law enforcement before his Sunday night rampage. Sheriff Joe Lombardo, the Clark County sheriff there, and he said, we checked all the databases and found nothing. And his brother, no political, no religious. The attack required meticulous planning, funding, and training. It just wasn't some lone senior citizen who snapped.
Torchlight's asking, he was a ways off. What's the range on something automatic? I think when you're that high up and you just shoot down, it doesn't really matter.
Well, no. So range is one thing. Accuracy is a complete another, because those rifles are completely capable of making 1,000-yard shots with scopes. But when it's fully automatic and it's that rate of fire,
you can't hold it
there's
steady.
No accuracy
even if
whatsoever.
You have it on a tripod?
Yeah, and I mean, it could be anywhere. If you're shooting 500 yards away, it could be anywhere in that 22,000 crowd people, that big, because you're all over the place. Accuracy, range is one thing, but accuracy is another thing altogether.
Fair enough. But you don't need accuracy whenever you've got a sea of people. All you got to do is point in that direction. Think of what you had done if you had one RPG or a grenade. One grenade alone would have been enough to double his body count.
I don't know about double, because one
person
can fall on it.
Yeah, I mean, you get my point.
Chucky 3.
True, Chucky 3. Good point.
Come on, man.
All right, well, what else you got, man? I think we're going to be running around, and long story short it here.
Yeah, long story short.
I think it could have went down just how they say, but there are a lot of inconsistencies that just don't add up. There's
a lot of things we don't know, and I really wish there was some more transparency.
And the problem is, I don't think is the police with their transparency. I think the problem is social media with everybody out there wanting to put some sort of story or theory together. And that's whenever you get people like, well, yeah, now we need all this information because there's all this disinformation out there. I've read 100 different stories that people put together on Facebook.
That's exactly why
I don't know what's true.
That's why we should get the official story.
So is it the police who are to blame, or is it the assholes who are just going to keep pumping out these stories to get clicks? Or both?
I honestly don't have a solution for the problem.
Yeah. Fake news, whether you like the way Donald Trump says it or not, is a real thing. And it's not so much straight disinformation that bothers me, people creating articles just to throw people off trails. Yeah, I'm sure that happens. What I think the problem is these people creating stories just they know they're false.
For clicks.
Just for clicks.
Mm-hmm. That's totally a thing, man. Totally a thing.
And that's the real problem. There should be a real problem, or a real fine or something for that. I don't know. All right, well, let's rein it in. I want to tell people to check out reddit.com/ourconspiracy. I found about 200 or 300
million
on there. Watch Steve Wynn's, or read his transcript from his interview. Check what he has to say out. There's a lot of interesting stuff about how the way metal detectors now work in Vegas, and a lot of the way the policies are, whether or not he could have had access to a freight elevator. A lot of good stuff. Check out the Steve Wynn interview. Make up your mind for yourselves. Check it out, our groups, facebook.com/Surreal Talk group, or group/Surreal Talk group, and discuss it there. We probably won't be involved with that. We don't like to get involved with Vegas discussions, but you might be.
Tweet at us at Surreal Talk Show on Twitter.
Yep. Want to go through the rest of our stuff, surrealtalkpodcast.com. Go on there, vote for Everett. Eric, yeah, I've actually disabled you.
Have you?
So you can't even vote for Eric. So
That's
it's either no vote or vote for me.
That's how cheaters do things.
I was going to win this one way or the other. What is the score right now, though, in all seriousness?
I'm not sure.
How about a little vanity talk in the middle of our tragedy discussion?
Right.
Yeah.
That's rough. How about?
I'm kicking the shit out of you.
Are you really?
166 to 158.
Gosh, get on www.surrealtalkpodcast.com. Vote in the poll. Vote Team Eric, please.
Yep. No rating on this show today.
No rating. We're just a little all over the place. It was an impromptu show. We just decided to do it. Hit us on Patreon.
You got no real. Is this a conspiracy type for sureties? So,
Excuse me.
I have no. Is this a conspiracy for sureties?
No, I don't either. But everyone else seems to think that it is. So I felt like we should discuss it. You know what I mean?
And we had the time. To put
and
out a
we
show,
had the time.
And we owed one. So, you're welcome. I guess it's kind of a weird way to put it.
So let's revisit this if more comes out. I agree. Let's revisit this if more comes out.
Thank you, Nick Kirkpatrick. It's a good idea. I just lost my headphones.
Nick Patrick?
Nick Kirkpatrick. Anyway. All right, we'll catch you guys all next week. Catch you in the group. I don't know what next week's show is going to be yet. We will have a show this weekend. We will likely not have a show the following weekend. We'll be in Alabama. If anybody want to come visit us, we'll be at the QuestCon, like Comic-Con convention in Mobile, Alabama, at the big convention center right on the river. We'll be at the UGC
Overwatch tournament. Yes.
So if you like playing Overwatch, come down for $10. We got a $5,000 prize pool, a little small event we're putting on. See you there.
Should be cool.
Otherwise, surrealtalkpodcast.com. Find us on all of our social media. Blah, diddy, blah, blah. We's out.
Oh, yeah. That was a good show. Good show.
Let me stop the recording for you.
Stop the show. Stop the recording. Good show. Thanks for the show,
It didn't
guys.
actually record.
What?
It didn't actually record, so we'll just pull the audio off Facebook or YouTube.
Really?
Yeah. It was just playing for whatever reason instead of recording. That's okay. I can pull that.
Rather cool.
All right, everybody. We got to get back to work. I'm not going to hang around too much today after the show, so we'll see you all this weekend and in the group.
Yep. Later, alligators. You guys are supposed to say after a while, crocodile.
It's still mine.